What's going on, you guys? Jeremy here, and today I'm going to share with you the one simple thing that is preventing you from closing deals when a prospect says, I need to think about it, I need to talk to my partner, I need to talk to my wife, blah, blah, blah. The list goes on and on. So this one thing is going to help increase your closing rate and skyrocket, and it's actually how I close a lot of deals. So nonetheless, let's get straight into it. So if you don't already know who I am, my name is Jeremy Pogue, and I help people with an online service business like coaches, consultants, agencies, scale up, blow past 100K a month, and make a ton of money and completely change your life. So that said, let's get straight into it. So really what it boils down to is this one thing called their action threshold. So in this video, I'm making this assumption that they have pretty much said, like maybe you've handled some other objections, you've answered some of their questions, and they say, yeah, everything sounds great, it all sounds awesome, but I need to think about it. And then right then and there, most salespeople, their heart just drops and they just accept defeat, right? They're waving up the white flag and they're like, okay, fine, let's set up a follow-up call, let's whatever, right? And then you never hear from them again. Where in this video, I'm gonna show you how to avoid that, so that way you actually close more deals, you help your prospects actually make decisions that they know they need to make that will only benefit them because you guys are good at what you do, and that's why you follow me. So really the first thing you do is smash the subscribe button, because I'm gonna drop a ton more bangers like this. But for real, the first thing you do is really just understand that, understand the concept of their action threshold. So if you have a low action threshold, that means that you are going to you're gonna make buying decisions pretty easily, right? It doesn't take much to get you above your threshold to then make a purchase and make a buying decision, right? You have to have at least some degree of certainty in what you're buying and kind of who you're buying it from, that it can actually help you get to where you want to be. Whereas a lot of people have a very high threshold, which means it'll take actually quite a bit to get them to that point of making a decision, right? So you really need to create a super airtight logical argument that, hey, this process that we're gonna walk you through to get you from A to B is going to actually get you your results you're looking for within the time frame as well. You need to clearly show them that and make it logically make sense, but then also emotionally, right? Dig into the pain of why they can't stay where they are and how they want to get to where they want to be really badly, but they can't do it on their own. And that's gonna kind of help increase their emotional certainty that this is the right decision, that they need to actually do something to change their life. And once you kind of lock in the emotional and the logical and they're still not closing, and you've isolated the objections, and for some reason they're still just on the fence, they're not making a decision, they say, I need to think about it, can I have some time to talk it over, or can you send me something, right? All these excuses, they're just a smokescreen for a high action threshold. So really it's really important, and oh my goodness, this is going to be, if you actually internalize this and you utilize this on your sales calls, you will start closing a hell of a lot more. I can promise you that. And yeah, I should be charging for this, but nonetheless, I'm gonna give it to you guys because you follow the channel, you support me, and I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. So anyways, it's really important to understand that what's going on inside of the prospect's mind at that point is that they're weighing the pros and cons of doing it versus not doing it. They're weighing the risks and rewards. So there's gonna be two mental movies that they play in their minds to themselves about this decision. So let's say you help them, for example, we'll just use our example, right? You help them grow their business, and it's gonna cost them, let's just keep it simple, let's say $1,000. It's gonna cost them $1,000 to grow their business, and they're gonna be weighing that $1,000, right? So they're going to be playing the two models, and one's gonna be positive and one's gonna be negative. So the negative one is what's the worst thing that can happen? They're going to lose $1,000. They're not going to get what they thought they were paying for, and they're going to be stuck in the same spot next week or next month or whatever, right? So that's kind of the worst thing. They're going to be thinking about where could I be spending this money on that would be more productive than this, or something along those lines, right? They're going to be playing a negative, toxic, limiting movie of all the things that could go wrong. And typically with people, the difference between people that have a high buying threshold and a low buying one is the lower guys they focus more on the positive, on the potential of what could possibly happen, rather than the negative of like the worst things that could happen. Whereas like the people with the high buying threshold, they tend to focus more on the negative and less on the positive, right? So they're more afraid of loss and of making a bad decision and the consequences that are going to come as a result of making a bad decision. And that's what you really need to target. That's what you need to understand, and that's what you need to go in and kind of pull that apart for them, right? So really one way to do that is by just attacking that head on. And you can say, well, John, like, what's the worst thing that can happen? What are you most afraid of? We just take your $1,000 and then like you go through the process, you don't sign any clients, you don't make any money. Like, is $1,000 like gonna make you homeless? Is that gonna bankrupt you? And they'll be like, well, no, right? And then be like, okay, well, like, let's see on the flip side. Let's say we can only help you like sign a couple clients for your $5,000 offer, right? So there you go. If all we can help you do is just sign 2 clients, you make 10 grand, like, is that gonna make you rich? Probably not. But now you know how to do that and sign as many more clients for literally the rest of your business career, right? Is that worth $1,000 to try it out? And so you can kind of see like how I navigated both sides. I kind of call out his fears and say like, what is the worst that could happen, and kind of walk him through that. And really, I think it depends on your personality, but if you kind of like throw in some humor and stuff like that, it kind of like lightens the load a little bit and lowers their defenses, but then also really just kind of helps them understand like that their excuses are actually just kind of delusional and don't actually make sense. So that said, if you can really just kind of help them walk through like what's the worst thing that could happen? Like, I take your money and like never hear from me again and blah blah blah, right? You can continue going down that rabbit hole, but nonetheless, like if you call that out, then it's going to make them think that their thoughts are like pretty ridiculous, because they kind of are, right? So really just focus on like creating that contrast between the two sides, the positive and the negative, and just kind of walking them through that. Say like, what is the worst that can happen? Like, is this going to make you broke? Is this going to like get the IRS to come chasing after you and take your home and wife and kids? Like, probably not, you know? But what could happen is this. And then talk about like the benefits and some other like client case studies and stuff like that. And you can even relate to them, like, yeah, so like our client, like Jeff, was going through the same thing. He had kind of the same fears. He was afraid of this, and this, but he decided to just say yes on the call and make an investment into himself and solve this problem that has been haunting him for a long time. And all of a sudden now, like after working together for a couple months, he went from here to now he's here, and none of the negative stuff happened, but all the positive stuff and more happened. So you can kind of like relate to them by using case studies, sprinkling that in gives you a ton of authority. It also kind of really like solidifies that like the thought that he's going to be having as well is like, will this work for me? So it kind of like appeases that too. But anyways, if you can really understand like the two mental movies that are gonna be playing in the prospect's mind, and if you can really just kind of like understand how to help paint those movies, paint those pictures in a way that serves you, then you're going to close significantly higher. And somebody actually just signed up this morning after I kind of walked them through that process too. So there you go. There's some absolute heat for you. If you like these videos, please share this with somebody. If you thought, oh my goodness, if you thought this was helpful, hit the like button, hit subscribe. I'm going to be dropping a bunch more bangers like this. Let me know if you guys like the sales side of things. I do a lot of high ticket sales, and coming up on a milli over the last 6 or 7 months, something like that. So I'm getting there, but nonetheless, really enjoy making these videos for you guys. So hit the like button, hit subscribe, follow me over on Instagram. I'll see you guys in the next video. Keep being awesome. Bye.